So what's up? This is the Believe in Buckeye podcast. I'm one of the co-hosts, Chimdi, and there was a recent comment made by Ryan Day. I think in a press conference, they asked him about the defense, and he pretty much said we re-engineered the defense basically overnight. After um, that Oregon showing, and I wanna quickly go through what I see that's different. Okay, and the easiest way to do that is to really look at third downs, because that third downs are where you got to do what you need to do to get off the field, right? So just watching them, and if you haven't seen it before, you go through our YouTube page and look at some of the third down breakdowns that we had from the Oregon game. But one of the things that me and Bryant talked about on the podcast is the defense just getting lined up, right? Defense getting lined up. I'm gonna show a few clips from those previous games to show what I'm talking about. But one, the defense getting lined up, okay, and not sacrificing disguise for coverage, right? A lot of times they would disguise and do a lot of movement pre-snap that actually put them out of position on third downs to really make the play. That's one. Number two, in an effort to get more pressure on the quarterback, they seem to be doing more movement up front. Not a ton of straight rushes all the time. They usually add some type of stunt from the defensive lineman, some type of stunt from a blitzer that allows them to really get what they want on a certain offensive lineman who can't really see it coming, right? That has been a benefit. And then another thing that I see that's different, it seems like for the cornerbacks, they've gone field boundary corner, right? Davidson Benosin seems to be playing much more to the boundary as a kind of bigger physical corner, getting more involved in the run fits, read and run, being a rolled up corner a lot of times, being a press corner a lot of times. Then Denzel Burke seems to be playing more in the field, more where there's a lot of space, where he could play off, read and react, and do some of the things he does best. So it seems like, those are three of the primary changes that I've noticed. But aside from that, I think it's philosophy, right? And going into the season, me and Brian talked about it a lot about the defense and the philosophy, right? So go back to 2021 Michigan game. We always reference this. There was 5 touchdowns given up from 5 explosive plays. And as an offensive coach like Ryan Day, I mean, you think like, look, if we just don't give up crazy explosive plays, we win the game. So let's eliminate the explosives. Let's not gamble too much. Fast forward to the next Michigan game and the big games, really, it kind of seemed like the defense was really just focused on not giving up big plays. And that led to the kind of grind out games and grind out losses where, they just didn't seem aggressive enough. So I always thought going into this year that you were going to see a much more aggressive ball club on defense, a much more aggressive defense. And we hadn't seen it earlier in the season. It still felt like they were being the kind of conservative defense and not, try to stop the offense and also try to disguise and not tip your hat a lot and make sure that everything is covered. That's one way to approach defense, right? And especially if the command is, don't give up the explosives. Yeah, we're gonna pressure, but we're gonna make sure that we don't show it, that we really hold our disguise so that they don't identify where to go. Really, with a talented defense like this, it's more important to get these guys lined up, get them attacking. And then if you really wanted to do a disguise and not tip your hat, do something really well and then work off of that. And I think, you see that a lot now with this defense, really kind of majoring a little bit more in a single high safety type defense, more guys in the box, more guys closer to the line of scrimmage, and then working off of that, right? And that's what you see here. So one of the first third and long situations versus Penn State, Ohio State goes with basically a single high man blitz, man-to-man, sending an extra guy. You got a running back sitting in the block, so then you can send basically two guys, right? Because whoever has a running back also can pressure. Again, so as you watch this, everybody's lined up. First thing I noticed, everybody's lined up. Does Penn State know what they're in? Yes, they're in single high. Either they're playing cover 3 or they're playing man-to-man. We know it off the bat. We don't know which one. But either they're playing cover 3, they're playing man-to-man, got everybody up on the line of scrimmage, they're probably bringing a blitz. Okay, Penn State, what are you going to do to stop it? All right? This is what I like.
Best tight end in college.
And I'm gonna cut the sound here. Let's bring that back. Let it roll. Okay, they're in man-to-man. Davison Igbinosun is 3rd and 10, but he's going to press because that's what he's most comfortable doing. And he feels like he'd rather get his hands on the guy and disrupt the route. Denzel Burke at the bottom, he's playing off because it's 3rd and 10, right? The route has to go 10 yards. They're sending a blitz. You know, I feel like I can read quick and react, and I can play my man. Everybody else, Jordan Hancock. I think this is Lorenzo Styles down here at the bottom in the slot. They're playing off. Right? These routes have to develop to 10 yards. Quarterback's at the top of his drop. Everybody's on top of their receiver. Quarterback's at the top of his drop, looking to throw. Look at this. Everybody's covered. The routes haven't even gone 10 yards yet. They're making collisions again in college football. You can jam at any point down the field as long as the ball has not been thrown. Their best player, 44. Jordan Hancock is hitting him right now. He's not even at the sticks. Quarterback's at the top of his route. Boom, pressure in his face. He has to let the ball go. These guys run into each other. Let's run it back because I want to look at the blitz. Okay. The other thing I said is that there seems to be more movement, more stunts. Right. It's not easy for the offensive line to scheme up and know exactly where the pressure is coming from, to know exactly how they're going to block things up. In this case, they do some of that movement. They get two guys on the center. The other thing about this approach to pressure is that you can identify a guy in the offensive line that you want to get to on, right? You can identify, okay, who's a weak link? Who's going to struggle to handle this? Boom. 2 on the center, pressure in the face of the quarterback. They don't hit the quarterback. They don't sack the quarterback. But he feels that pressure, and he has to let the ball go. And when he lets the ball go, everybody's covered. Matter of fact, they're running into each other at this point, right? That's good defense. That's good defense. That's different than what we saw before, which I'm going to quickly kind of go through some of what we saw in some of the previous games to show the contrast. Again, so here we go. This is not a 3rd down. This is a 2nd and 8. But I really like this defensive play call. I really like this play. One, because of the first thing that I've noticed that has changed. Instead of doing a lot of pre-snap disguising as defensive backs and then trying to get to where you're supposed to get to, they're getting lined up. And they're moving on the snap, but they're disguised. They're disguising coverage in a way that makes sense because everybody right now as a defender is in a place that is easy for them to get to their coverage responsibility, right? And that's what's perfect. Now, from the disguise standpoint, the quarterback is typically going to read the 2 safeties. If it's a 2 high safety look, it's a 2 high safety coverage. If it's a single high safety look, it's a single high safety coverage, which would be cover 1 man or a cover 3, right? And based off of that, he's making his decision. So in this coverage specifically, they show 2 high, but at the snap of the ball, one of the safeties comes down, Lathan Ransom comes down, and it looks like it's going to be single high safety defense. Except Davison Igbinosun, who's a corner, is going to move to basically play a cover 2 safety in the boundary at the bottom, right? So it ends up being a 2 high safety look, and the quarterback, it forces the quarterback to have to think during the play. He doesn't exactly know what the defense is in. And the great thing about that is they send a blitz. It's a delayed blitz. It's a blitz that happens after they're not lined up at the line of scrimmage. It happens after the snap, but because of the coverage and because of the forcing Drew Aller to go to his second read, he's gonna get hit. And this is a perfect kind of a perfect example of what I've seen change from this defense. Let's get lined up. Let's disguise in a way that we're going to be close to where our responsibility is, be close to where our coverage is, and let the coverage and the pressure work together, right? So at the snap of the ball, boom, you got a blitz. Jordan Hancock is blitzing, and Cody Simon is blitzing, right? But more importantly, in this situation, at the snap of the ball, it looks like a single high safety. Lathan Ransom's coming down. Caleb Downs is running it's running deep. But up top, you see Jermaine Matthews, who's now a rolled up corner. And he takes away this first read. The quarterback wants to get it to their best player, their tight end, on an out route, right at the sticks. And Jermaine Matthews is sitting there waiting to trap this, waiting to steal this and pick this ball off. So he has to go away from it. And while he's going away from it, boom, he's getting hit. He's getting hit. Because at the snap of the ball, right, the look initially, it looks like the Ohio State's playing coverage. Doesn't look like they're bringing a pressure. Doesn't look like they're bringing a blitz, right? You can see up top they're pointing out Jordan Hancock to say, hey, look, he's coming on the blitz. He's coming on the blitz. But where we win is Jermaine Matthews up top. He's playing off coverage. It looks like a cover 3 or maybe a cover 1, whatever. But then at the snap of the ball, boom, it's trapped. He takes this first read away, and now we got a blitz coming, and we got 2 guys on the guard. Guard takes Hancock. Cody Simon comes free. Boom, pressure in his face. He gets hit. This is the type of defense that we should be playing. This is the type of defense, and the reason why is because Ohio State has a group of guys that are very versatile. And I didn't even show Jack Sawyer in this play. A group of guys that's very versatile. So I know where Jim Knowles came from. He played with the jack position. He did a lot of things that were kind of innovative to be able to create, challenges for defenses, for offenses, and make it hard for them to know where the pressure was coming from, where the coverage was coming from, etc. The key thing about Ohio State defense that you have to understand that's different than Oklahoma State is that all of the guys on this defense can do multiple things. So while a jack position can be effective, Jordan Hancock, Sonny Styles, Jack Sawyer, Davidson Igbinosun, Lathan Ransom, Caleb Downs, all of these, Cody Simon, all of these guys can rush, can drop in coverage, can tackle in the open field. So you don't need one guy to move around to not know where he's coming from, because all of them can move around, and because they can handle that, and they're veteran guys at this point. So because we have the talent and the experience to handle a lot of different types of plays and different ways to execute these plays, it gives you the versatility that you need to be able to run this type of defense. You just have to do it in a way where you're on the attack and you're being aggressive, which means you got to get lined up and play from there. Watch Jack Sawyer. Jack Sawyer in this play is now the corner. He's a rolled up corner. Jermaine Matthews up top is a rolled up corner. Davidson Igbinosun is a cover 2 safety in this situation. Caleb Downs is a cover 2 safety. So we got a defensive end who's dropping like a corner. We got a corner who's out there playing deep like a safety, right? And there's nowhere to go. And that's how rushing coverage works together. So when Ryan Day says they re-engineered the defense, I think it starts with defensive philosophy. It's not about just stopping the offense from, getting explosives, right? It's not about just getting more pressure on the quarterback. It's about taking an aggressive approach that's simple but effective and done in a way where you utilize the talent on the defense to do multiple things that forces the offense to not be able to easily game plan and understand where the blitz is coming from, where the pressure is coming from, and where the coverage is going to end up. And when the offense is on their heels in that way, now that aggressive attacking defense can get after them. That's how you affect the quarterback. So kudos to the coaching staff. Kudos to Ryan Day, which I think this year is uniquely different because Ryan Day is no longer the offensive coach, who now, when the defense plays bad, just says, "Hey, we can't give up explosives. Let's fix it." Now he's the CEO who can go into the defensive meeting room all week on a bye and say, "Hey, I don't want to give up explosives. I don't want to give up big plays, but we got to be more aggressive. How do we do that?" And then Jim knows, working within his experience, can say, based on the guys we have, based on what they're good at doing, let's simplify the defense, but let's create the complexity for the offense by moving these guys around in areas where they can be effective. So kudos to the coaching staff for making that happen. Okay, so here's another one, right? This is me going back to Oregon game just to look at one of the third downs. In this situation, they're showing blitz. They're showing pressure. They're going to burst out and play coverage. It's 3rd and 10. They're going to play cover 3. Personally, on 3rd and long, I like some type of pressure. I like some type of blitz because, these routes have to go 10 yards. And if you can get pressure on the quarterback, then they can't even get 10 yards. But they go with a 4-man rush. They show like they're coming. They go with a 4-man rush. The issue is 4-man straight rush. You're not catching anybody by surprise. You allow Dillon Gabriel to step up in the pocket. So if we look at it, I don't like sacrificing coverage for this guys. I think in this case, they don't do a bad job of getting out and getting into their coverage responsibility. Jordan Hancock, just the one who isn't really disguising that much, but hangs a little bit too long on the low guy, doesn't get in position to actually stop the play. So you see them, they start to burst out and play coverage. 4-man straight rush. You end up getting a double team on 3 of these guys. No surprise from the offensive line. They're able to handle this easy because there's nothing really to handle. You got a tight end, and I think the running back is going to end up helping with the tight end against JTT. I think that's KJ on the inside, but you get the center and the guard on him. You get a guard and tackle on whoever that is next to Jack Sawyer, and then Jack Sawyer does a good job of beating his guy, but Dillon Gabriel is not concerned because he gets to step up, no pressure in his face, and gets to be able to make a clear, accurate throw to his receiver. Just too much time, too easy on 3rd and 10. 3rd and 10, defense has the advantage. Too easy, no pressure in his face. Now, what we're seeing a lot is more stunts, a guy looping, and more pressure in the face of the quarterback so that this doesn't happen. When it comes to the coverage, I think guys do an okay job of getting to their spots. Jordan Hancock, a little bit aggressive, doesn't get the depth needed to get underneath. He has to get underneath this route. Denzel Burke has 2 deep routes coming at him. There's one that's not in the screen that's deeper than that he has to respect. So he can't make the play on this one. The underneath guy has to get back to the sticks to protect that first down and force him to throw the underneath route. But, with very little pressure on the quarterback, very little confusion from the offensive line, you get a 3-layer route up top. You get a bunch of guys down low that don't have no action. Look, you got 4 guys with nothing to do. They're just guarding space because, they can't add. It's not a blitz. It's a zone. It's their zone. They got to get in their zone, but there's nothing in their zone. They layer the routes up top, and they get 3 guys essentially on 2, and they get to keep everybody in the block, right? The reason an offense can scheme up something like this is because when they watch film, they see you showing pressure, they see you showing blitz, but they see the 4-man rush. They see the 4-man rush over and over again, or the all-out blitz, right? Either way, they're prepared and they can scheme this stuff up, and that's how you get the double move on Denzel Burke on the third down. That's how you get a 3-layer route up top on Denzel Burke and Jordan Hancock on the third down, and you get guys open. With a little bit more movement up front, a little bit some more stunts, you're able to scheme up defensively, getting pressure, getting 2 guys on the guard, getting 2 guys on the center, right? Targeting somebody that you feel can't handle picking up that pressure, and you can put all these guys to work, right? You can put all these guys to work, bringing a blitz, or even if you're going to drop out in coverage, at least creating some kind of stunt, something up front to force that, to not allow that quarterback to step up into the pocket. I think now they've done a better job of being intentional about, creating more movement, a little bit more havoc up front, playing more man so that, if this situation happens where you got a 3-layer route up top and everybody stays in the block, tight end stays in the block, running back stays in the block, guess what? Linebackers go. You blitz too, right? If your man is going to sit there and block, go hit the quarterback. So I like the adjustment, and I like the adjustment primarily because this is a defense that can handle those things in play. They can handle it. Very versatile players, very talented players who can add on the blitz when they see a guy sitting in block and destroy something. So kudos again to the coaches for being able to re-engineer the defense and play a defense that better fits the talent that exists on this team. Okay, so this is the last one I'm going to show from Oregon game. All right, but you had a 3rd and 6. This is Oregon's last scoring drive. It's a big 3rd and 6. They're on their own 39-yard line. This would be a huge stop here. So it's a huge third down. They line up with a tight end out wide. Caleb Downs, a smart player, he can kind of sense that tight end is likely going to motion back in. But they're showing a too high safety look. I know that they're expecting pass. They then ran some disguising coverage, holding the 2 shell. And that's what ultimately gets them in trouble. Again, if you haven't heard me say this before, I can't stand when you sacrifice coverage for disguise or responsibility for disguise, right? And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's a good play call by Oregon. And the reason they do it, instead of throwing the ball, they run the ball to the left side. 1, because they're probably going to go for it on 4th down. But 2, because they have a light box with the safety being so far. Now, his coverage, his responsibility would pull him closer to the line of scrimmage, except, he's disguising. So when you let this play out, he's deep, and he just can't get there in time. All right, everybody's blocked up. He's the free hitter. He's the free guy. But based on where he's at, he doesn't make the tackle until the 1st down. Didn't see a lot of this in the Nebraska game. Didn't see a lot of this in the Penn State game. A lot more guys lined up, guys closer to the line of scrimmage, press coverage, man coverage, guys closer to their coverage. And then, in those situations where they do want to run a little bit more zone, they show man, they show closer to the line of scrimmage, they burst out. But everybody they're doing a better job of disguising in relation to where they're supposed to end up, which is simple, but very, very important to be able to not give up things like this when you have a big 3rd down. And the only reason you give up that play is just because you're just not close enough to your responsibility to make the play.